Well, hello there, and welcome to another lightly whispered video. Bit ASMR, this, isn't it? So I wanted to put out something because I feel like I need to do things while I'm here working at this piece of shit machine. So what you're seeing now, believe it or not, this is sped up like 4 times, I think, which is so surreal looking at it and doing this voiceover, because yeah, it looks like it's moving at normal speed to me, and that's just testament to how fucking slow this machine is. So this build took me nearly 2 hours, I think it was, all in. Crashed twice because as I said before in the video with the battle wagon, this computer just hates sculpting. Like it'll handle the hard surface to an extent, but it cannot stand sculpting. And yeah, this is like the best I could do, really. I managed to get this base mesh finished, because for that battle wagon I'm going to need some Grot gunners on there, and Grot gunners can equal other models eventually at some point, I suppose. A little Grot squad maybe. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see where it goes. I don't know. But yeah, it was an experience. I think I might make this some kind of mini-series. I don't know. How to sculpt in Blender using nothing but ancient dog shit hardware that really doesn't want to run. I'm sure that's really exciting, and people would be fascinated to watch that. No, they won't, but still, why not? Why not? Maybe there's some tricks you can pick up in this, I don't know. I mean, the main trick really is sculpting piece by piece, and where necessary, like say this head for example, as I'm working on it now, I could take that head, export it into a separate blend file, and then do like the real, well, say high poly work. Yeah, the medium at best poly work, and then doing all that there, then decimating, and then bringing back into this file. I did do that with this. Well, I exported this head so that I could do poses with it while it was a high poly mesh. Not that I've done any of that here, like posing I mean. I've just kind of made a generic base one after decimation, and just kept it in this file and played with it here. Although I think you see me export it in a second. God, look at that thing. Oh, I was having some serious doubts making this at this exact point. I was like, what am I doing? I just can't seem to control this computer. It doesn't want to do what I want it to do. I don't have the usual mouse I use. I don't have my usual keyboard. And yeah, it's like learning to play the same, like a different guitar or something, like you get to know your weapon, and you work efficiently with it, and then you change it up for something that's functionally the same but also completely different. Like here I've got a Microsoft mouse and keyboard. The keyboard is actually, it's very ergonomically nice for writing essays on and things. Brilliant. For doing Blender, I seem to just trip over myself all the time. There's a couple of extra keys in there that I don't have on my other keyboard, which, just in case you're interested, is a mechanical keyboard courtesy of wish.com. It's theoretically a piece of shit, but I've actually grown to love it. It does its job pretty well, and it's got RGB. Like I need RGB to go with my Dell Optiplex PC. It's all very much office equipment for me because it's cheap, but it's a workhorse and it does its job. It does what it needs to do, so it's not too bad. I mean, you maybe have... Oh, why is the video frozen? Oh god, I had someone from a charity knock on the door while I was sculpting, and I've completely forgotten about that. But I'm too lazy to go back into the edit now and fix it. That's terrible. I probably should do that. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm a bad person. This is a terrible video. It shouldn't last long. I got rid of them pretty quickly. I'm fucking poor. I can't afford to give money to charity. I need the charity. Oh, here we go. I'm back. And I'm playing with eyes. Some rudimentary eyes. I'm trying to step away from actually just using spheres as eyes, because it's kind of feels lame. But at the same time, it actually works all right in this sculpt, I think. And this is just a base mesh. Did I mention that? I can't remember if I mentioned that. So this is just a nude little chap, but minus any genitalia, of course. Let's try and keep this PG, people. God damn. But yeah, he's a chubby little fellow. His little pot belly, and that awful looking nose. I can't remember if I changed that. Did I change that? I don't know. It kind of, at the moment, he's looking a bit like one of those Mordor orcs from the Lord of the Rings movies. Got that same huge mouth and the really pointy, horrible nose. What's the damn one I'm thinking of? Well, they try to eat the hobbits through Rohan. You know what I mean. I'm sure you've seen Lord of the Rings. I have a terrible memory, so I can't actually remember the specifics. God, how big are his flared nostrils? I think I might have started confusing those for cheekbones at some point. That's a little bit janky. Never mind. Something to change later. It's definitely not the best looking sculpt I've ever done. A little bit of ears work now. Dude, I'm going to change all this in a second. This doesn't actually work, this idea, if memory serves. Because, here's a lesson. Because I've deformed the mesh in the ways that I have, if I want to use the mirror function in the sculpt, the mirror axes would be completely off. So now I'm like, oh wow, shite, yeah. Don't do that, you dickhead. Reset it. And work on it clean. With no rotation or anything, so it can't go funky. God, I was working well too high in the vertices count here. It's so ludicrous to me that I'm watching this at nearly 4 times or 4 odd times speed, and it just looks like I'm making it normally. How strange. I was looking into upgrading this computer, actually, off the back of doing this while I was waiting for this video to render, because it was in 5 parts originally. And it wouldn't cost me that much. I think just a decent RAM boost might actually kick it along. It's only got 8 gig of RAM, which is going to be the big shortcoming. It has an i5 processor, so that's not too sad. It's only 2.7 gig, and I think the one I normally use is 3.2, maybe. I don't know. I think the RAM's the big issue, though. Oh, constant again. This is probably just a little bit of me hating what I'm doing and thinking about giving up again, which is, it's just what you do as an artist. You loathe everything that you make and crack on with it anyway. I don't know what I did with that saving now. That was weird. I think I almost saved over everything I've ever done, on this computer at least, which was strange. But yeah, here's the decimated head to try and keep the vertices count under control, because yeah, it's a real problem. Things were getting really sluggish. So yeah, I had to change that. Now it's time to put a little neck on my boy. Little necky lad. I don't know how I'm going to talk over all of this, by the way. I'm just going to be doing a lot of bullshit waffling, I suppose. Got some text messages to reply to. We could read through those together if you like. I'm sure you don't want to know about the ins and outs of my mate Linda. Oh, hi Linda, by the way, if you watch this. You get a shout out in the video. I don't know. Oh, still I get to work on my Necron Lord again tomorrow, or the Overlord. That should be good. Get a couple of hours in the morning before I go off for my walk-in vaccination. I had booked a vaccination, but they wanted me to travel 20 miles in one direction for the first one, and then 20 miles in the opposite direction for the second one. And then a pamphlet came through the door saying, hey, if you need your jab, why don't you just walk on down to the end of the road and get a walk-in vaccination? Well, that sounds a lot better. I think I'll do that. So I'll be doing that midday tomorrow. If you're watching this in a few years' time, then yeah, that's when this happened, during the big old pandemic, or allegedly towards the end of the pandemic. But I think things are not going to change for quite a while. Also thinking about trying to get a better laptop. If I can somehow convince a family member to get some finance for me. If I can get myself something decent, then I could do this on the go. I can start doing it at work when I'm on a slightly less busy shifts, or when I find myself sitting around in 2-3 hour gaps between shifts, because that's how bar work be sometimes, y'all, if you don't know. It can be a little bit arduous. It drives me nuts, the idea that I sit around, like every Sunday I sit around for 2.5 to 3 hours just in the office doing nothing but watch YouTube, because I've got no way of being productive up there, and I hate it, absolutely hate it. If I could sit there and just do some sculpting, that would be the best. I could go home, I suppose, do some sculpting, then come back again, but you know, that's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort. When you've been working for 9-10 hours already, you don't want to have to ride your bike back to your flat, carry your bicycle up 3 flights of stairs, jump on the computer and dribble from exhaustion while you're trying to make something for people to 3D print. Oh, that's something that happened to me today. The trunked creeper killer. Someone on Cults 3D actually made that. They printed it and it looks fucking awesome. And it's so cool to see. Like, I've never seen anyone print anything that I've made before, and yeah, I got super excited about that. Like, that was mind blowing for me. You know, if you're one of these people who made good money selling miniatures, then I guess that's an everyday occurrence for you. But for me, big deal, ladies and gents. Let me tell you, it's crazy. If by the way, if you're watching this and you've got a 3D printer and you've not printed any of my free models, there's enough of them. Go out and do it. Send me a picture. Maybe I'll put it in a video. That's what people do, right? That's the thing people do. And then we can all get excited over it. I mean, I'll definitely be excited over it. I'm only laughing because I don't think anyone else will be. Ah, yes. The work on the buttocks, the most integral part of any sculpt. These were bugging the hell out of me, actually. Got tiny little arse cheeks, and I couldn't work out quite how to get the legs to match up to it. And this is another lesson. Make sure you've got merge turned off if you're mirroring to make your pieces like this, because if you apply that mirror and the spheres are intersecting and merges on, of course, you've then got one solid chunk and you will not be able to pose those shapes later. I am thinking for this one, actually, I might try and use armatures to pose the models and make the variety of poses. Because normally I just move these shapes around and then I boolean them all together. If I get those balls done first and rock an armature in there and pose them that way, that might be good. It does mean learning weight painting, which is something I have absolutely no experience with whatsoever at the moment. But you know, it can't be too difficult, and it can't be a bad thing to learn at the end of the day, because I do have, you know, pipe dreams and fantasies about having far more time on my hands and taking these models and making animations with them instead of just 3D printing them. Like, I think that would be really fucking cool. I did a bit of film studies back in the day, you know. I could half-arse a script maybe. I especially love that with the ceramic models, actually, but they're they are surprisingly a fuck-sight more complicated than this orc stuff and the Tyranid stuff that I've been doing. Just the way the shapes are, because there's a lot of hard surface in those guys, as opposed to just the pure sculpt of this organic stuff. But it's a mix. It's a mix. A lot of the detailing's done in sculpts, and the general shaping is a hard surface, because the Necron range, the old Necron range, is just fully made of cylinders. I'm sure of it. If it's not cylinders, then it's bald cubes. Bald cubes? Not bald cubes, you twazzock. Beveled cubes. Beveled shapes. Just beveled basic geometrics. For a lot of it anyway. And then some nice detailing over the top, obviously. It's Games Workshop. The quality of the models is phenomenal. And there's so many lessons to learn from looking at them. I do think to myself, actually, I might try... I'm not for pirating models at all, but I might be tempted to do a video series where it's just like replicating their sculpts, like from from images, and like using that as a way of learning how much detail to put on a miniature. Because that's one thing I've noticed, is that you can go crazy on detail and it's just not going to print at 32mm scale. And when you're really in the process and you're really enjoying yourself, it's so hard to say, okay, that's enough. And it's happened with a few models that I've done. Not so much lately, because I'm trying to, I've reined that in a little bit. But it's still there. It's always there. It's always like that. Just go full out. Do everything you can. But yeah, they look overly detailed miniatures just look fucking off anyway. Like, there's just something about it. It's probably there's so much detail that you can't physically paint it, especially at such a small scale. So you have to pick and choose what you're actually going to show off. If you watched any of my other videos, you might be thinking, why don't you just use one set of arms? Because honestly, all your arms look pretty much the fucking same. And to you, sir, I say practice. I'm going to keep just remaking and remaking until I've got something that I'm actually happy with. Which would require me to actually improve. Which I don't seem to whenever I do these things. Although I think the hands come out quite well on this. They've not got the detailing yet that I want. Just like your knuckles and fingernails and such what, but the general shape of them, they come out pretty good, I think. I was quite happy with them, those little podgy fingers that weren't, for once in my life, just made from cylinders and then sculpted on top of, because I felt like the remeshing there was probably going to be a nightmare for this computer. So I didn't go that far in. Don't know what I was thinking here. Got rid of these. This disappears like in seconds. What are they doing? No, bad. Bad. Get rid of it all. I think. Didn't I? No, I'm questioning myself now. Maybe they are like this. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to try and do your bones and your details in the back of your hand before you know where your fingers are. That's a mistake. Yeah, I did go there. I knocked it off. I got rid of it. Decimating that palm down already. I guess it's kind of smart in a way, because you're gonna be decimating these models anyway, right? And I mean, one of the wonderful things about Blender is the dynamic topology function as well. So you can decimate your model and then go in and add details with certain brushes using the decimate modifier, but it doesn't work for everything. Like you can't, memory serves me, you can't use a scrape tool and decimate. And if you see my, if you were bold enough to sit through my other videos where I talk about sculpting, you know that I love me the scrape brush. It's just like my favourite thing. I guess that's one of the things that makes it most hard for me using this computer, is that I love the feeling of the brush as it's carving into the digital clay. Like, that scrape brush just feels tactile, even though I'm using a mouse. I'm not touching anything really, but it has a quality to it that a lot of the other brushes just don't seem to have. Yeah, look, here we go, a bit of dynamic topology messing around with, although still kind of getting used to this concept. And in the end I just thought, you know what, actually don't bother. It's not worth the effort on this computer. Always apply your modifiers before pressing Ctrl J. We're nearing the end now, guys. Don't worry if you've made it this far. Well done you. There's, what, 3.5 minutes left, roughly, give or take. And there's not much left to see. Put some teeth in. That's about it. Also, I went straight for boots with this, which I didn't talk about earlier because, yeah, I didn't fancy doing feet. And when do you ever see a grot without shoes? Grots are classier, you know, than orcs. Orcs don't need shoes because they're hard as nails, and walk around barefoot, why not? I mean, some opt for footwear, of course, because they like to kick hard things, I imagine, and not break their toes, but some are dumb and just don't care, whereas grots, intelligent, brain boys, maybe, depending on what era of the law you're from and you enjoy. I don't think he's looking too bad at this point. Not for a bit of posing, because those legs are just too straight, and you can't work things out. And you've got nothing but straight parts, unless it's, well, the arms don't count, because, you know, arms dangle. That's just what they do. Anyway, maybe for the next one I'll have some talking points lined up. I keep thinking to myself, maybe I should like do something like this and talk about, you know, this week in Warhammer, like what's going on with the Warhammer Plus app. Are we all going to get absolutely buggered in the arse by Games Workshop charging us for a premium video service with absolutely dick-all content? Maybe. Probably. I was watching Valrak earlier, and I think he said that there's going to be like free models and stuff associated. Well, not free models. Was it free models or exclusive models? Sorry, associated with that app. So I guess that's fine and dandy if you've got the money to purchase models in this day and age. Big old clunky clogs. Love it. I was going to go with like a individual teeth and maybe a tongue hanging out, but I wasn't really. My mind's not made up on the expression yet, and like I said, I'm going to do variances. So I figured just a nice little toothy grin for the minute. That will do. It's nice and simple. This computer shouldn't shit the bed trying to do it. Although I think it did actually. Although miraculously it didn't erase the footage. It managed to save it. So well, there's a plus for the iMac right there. If it does crap its pants, then at least it doesn't erase whatever I've recorded on the screen. That's probably also the other reason that I was having as bad a time as I was sculpting, is there's only 8 gig of RAM, so when you're trying to record the video simultaneously, it's pretty much just going to run out of resources. That looks alright, doesn't it? I think it looks okay. Well, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, once again, I'll see you in the next one. And once again, hopefully the content may be better. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Good night. Stop, damn you.